Imagine being told your life would end before it truly began, yet going on to reshape the very foundations of time, space, and human understanding. This is the extraordinary journey of Stephen Hawking, a man trapped inside a failing body, but armed with a limitless mind. From the confines of a wheelchair, he reached into black holes, challenged Einstein, and made the universe's secrets accessible to all of us. Buckle up for a story that's as cosmic as it is courageous. And before we dive in, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our mind-expanding explorations. Stephen William Hawking was born in Oxford, England on January 8, 1942, a date marked by cosmic coincidence, as it came exactly 300 years after the death of Galileo Galilei. Raised in a family that valued education and intellect above material wealth, Stephen's early environment was steeped in books, discussions of philosophy, and scientific curiosity. His father was a medical researcher and his mother a keen intellectual, which meant that dinner conversations often revolved around the complexities of biology, literature, and science. Though not considered a prodigy in school, Stephen showed a natural inclination for figuring out how things worked. He built rudimentary computers from recycled parts, constructed elaborate model trains, and constantly asked why and how to everything around him. He enrolled at University College, Oxford, at just 17, and while he found the coursework in physics relatively easy, he had little patience for routine academic work. His professors were sometimes frustrated by his lack of effort, but amazed by his intuitive grasp of abstract concepts. When it came time to choose a research direction for his graduate studies, he set his sights on cosmology, the study of the universe as a whole. This decision led him to Cambridge University, a place that would soon become both his academic home and the battlefield upon which he would confront his greatest foe, ALS. It was during his first year at Cambridge that the first symptoms of his illness began to show. He experienced increasing clumsiness, frequent falls, and difficulty controlling his hands. After a series of medical tests and specialist visits, he received a devastating diagnosis: amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. He was told he had 2, perhaps 3 years to live. At just 21 years old, Stephen was handed a death sentence that would have crushed most people. He spiraled into a deep depression and even stopped working on his studies. But something remarkable happened. Inspired in part by a fellow hospital patient's own battle with leukemia and encouraged by the woman he would eventually marry, Jane Weld Hawking made the decision not to surrender. Instead, he began working even harder, determined to accomplish something significant in whatever time he had left. He returned to his cosmological research with renewed vigor, exploring questions that no one else dared to ask. He began studying the nature of singularities, the infinitesimal points in space where gravity becomes infinite, and how these played a role in both black holes and the origin of the universe. Alongside mathematician Roger Penrose, he published papers showing that singularities are not just strange exceptions, but are a fundamental feature of spacetime itself. These findings revolutionized the field and hinted at a moment of cosmic birth, the Big Bang. It was the beginning of a lifelong mission to explain the origins of everything, even as his own body deteriorated. As Hawking's disease progressed, he lost the use of his limbs, his speech became slurred, and eventually, he became almost entirely paralyzed. Yet, as his body weakened, his intellect only grew more powerful. In 1974, he proposed a radical idea that black holes, which had long been thought to consume everything without escape, could actually emit radiation due to quantum effects near their event horizons. This concept, now known as Hawking radiation, stunned the scientific community. It bridged the gap between general relativity and quantum mechanics, 2 pillars of physics that had never before been reconciled. Hawking's work forced physicists to rethink the very nature of information and how the universe handles entropy, thermodynamics, and causality. His theory challenged assumptions that had stood for decades and opened entirely new fields of study. He was elected to the Royal Society at just 32, and despite his declining health, he continued to lecture, publish, and engage with colleagues around the globe. With the help of a speech-generating device, operated by a single cheek muscle. He communicated ideas so complex that even experienced physicists took years to unpack them. His book, A Brief History of Time, published in 1988, became a runaway bestseller. Though many readers admitted they didn't understand it completely, it became a cultural phenomenon. Hawking proved that the public was hungry for knowledge about the cosmos, if only someone could explain it in a way that captured both the wonder and the science. Hawking's influence extended far beyond academic circles. He became a pop culture icon, appearing in documentaries, TV shows, and cartoons, including The Simpsons and Star Trek. The Next Generation. His robotic voice and wry sense of humor became symbols of his unbreakable spirit. He wasn't just a scientist, he was a storyteller, a teacher, and a philosopher. He challenged humanity to look outward, to dream bigger, and to remember that even if we are just a speck in the cosmos, we are a speck capable of asking magnificent questions. In his later years, he turned his focus to broader existential issues: the future of artificial intelligence, the survival of humanity, and the need to colonize other planets. He argued that intelligence was humanity's greatest gift and greatest threat, depending on how it was used. Despite the burdens of his illness, Hawking continued to travel, teach, and inspire until his passing in 2018. He left behind a legacy that can be measured not only in equations and theories, but in minds opened and lives changed. His ashes rest in Westminster Abbey alongside Newton and Darwin, a poetic ending for a man who once said, "Look up at the stars and not down at your feet." For Stephen Hawking, the universe was not something to fear, but something to understand. And through his life, he showed us that curiosity is the most powerful force in the cosmos. Despite the relentless progression of ALS, Stephen Hawking refused to let his illness dictate the scope or direction of his life. Every keystroke on his speech device became a bridge between brilliant thought and human connection. As the decades passed, the disease robbed him of movement, but never his curiosity. With eyes that observed the stars and a mind that reached past galaxies, he tackled some of the most complicated scientific problems of our time. One of his lifelong fascinations remained the question of what happened at the beginning of time. Was there a boundary? Could the laws of physics explain everything from the first nanosecond to the sprawling universe we observe today? His model, which proposed a no-boundary condition for the universe, argued that time itself could be finite, but without a distinct beginning. This reshaped our understanding of cosmological history and challenged both scientists and philosophers alike to revisit the origins of everything. Hawking's work was not merely mathematical, it was deeply philosophical. He often questioned the role of God in the creation of the universe, not from a place of denial, but from a scientific lens that sought empirical truth. He once said, "It is not necessary to invoke God to light the blue touch paper and set the universe going." That bold stance ignited worldwide debate and pushed scientific discourse into the mainstream. His beliefs, carefully articulated, attracted both praise and criticism, but always attention. Through interviews, documentaries, and best-selling books, he became not just a thinker of thoughts, but a conveyor of questions that most people had never considered. His life became a bridge between ivory towers of academia and the curious minds of everyday people. No longer was cosmology reserved for professors and scholars. It became dinner table conversation and late-night curiosity fuel for millions around the world. Even in the face of physical deterioration, Hawking continued to travel globally, delivering lectures that inspired the next generation of physicists. With the aid of his iconic computer voice, he explained complex theories with simplicity and humor. His public appearances were events in themselves, filled auditoriums, standing ovations, and hushed audiences waiting to hear his synthesized voice deliver words of wisdom. Despite his condition, or perhaps because of it, every word he shared carried weight. His lectures transcended science. They were messages of resilience, of seeing beyond limitations, and of refusing to accept fate without a fight. From Japan to America, from the UK to India, Hawking's presence became a symbol of mind over matter. He was proof that while our bodies may falter, the human spirit can remain unshaken. In his final years, Hawking collaborated with researchers to tackle some of the most important questions facing humanity. Can we survive climate change? What are the consequences of artificial intelligence? Should we colonize other planets? His views were often sobering. He warned that we were at risk of self-destruction if we didn't change course. But he also believed in the power of human ingenuity. His involvement in projects like Breakthrough Starshot, aimed at sending tiny spacecraft to neighboring star systems, showed that he never stopped thinking forward. Even as the end approached, he published academic papers and engaged in debates. The final message he left behind was not one of despair, but of hope, that we can explore, innovate, and rise above even the most impossible odds. When Stephen Hawking passed away in 2018, the world lost not just a scientist, but a symbol of what it means to persevere, to imagine, and to forever look up at the stars. The story of Stephen Hawking is one of layered brilliance, where the personal and professional entwined in the service of truth. From his diagnosis at the age of 21, when he was told he had only a few years to live, to the moment he stood before crowded halls to deliver groundbreaking lectures decades later, his life became a testament to the power of the human will. The wheelchair did not define him. The mind within it did. His theories on singularities and the event horizons of black holes laid the foundation for modern cosmology, challenging even the brightest minds. Yet, it was not just the theories themselves, but how he made them accessible to the public that made him truly revolutionary. His best-selling book, A Brief History of Time, stayed on the Sunday Times bestseller list for a record-breaking 237 weeks, proving that even the most complex scientific ideas can resonate when explained with clarity and wonder. Stephen Hawking's legacy stretches far beyond the confines of scientific literature or lecture halls. His influence is etched into the fabric of modern thought, as much philosophical as it is technical. He challenged not only the academic elite, but the collective mindset of humanity, forcing a reevaluation of where we stand in the cosmos. With courage stitched into every word he spoke and wrote, Hawking exemplified how limitations are often illusions that crumble under the weight of willpower. Schools and institutions continue to incorporate his theories into their curricula, and children still read his books with wonder, dreaming of stars and galaxies. In his honor, academic chairs have been established, documentaries filmed, and spacecraft named. His voice synthesized, yet uniquely profound, still echoes in countless digital archives, preserved not just as a memory, but as a tool for future exploration. Each quote, each theorem, and each interview is a breadcrumb, leading the curious mind further into the realm of possibility. One of the earliest and most notable portrayals was in the 1991 television biopic Hawking, where the actor Benedict Cumberbatch portrayed the young physicist. This film highlighted Hawking's struggles with his diagnosis and his early scientific breakthroughs, introducing him to a broader audience beyond the scientific community. Later, the 2014 film, The Theory of Everything, starring Eddie Redmayne, dramatized Hawking's life story, from his early romance with Jane Wilde to his growing fame and the challenges of his illness. This portrayal won critical acclaim and helped deepen public appreciation for Hawking's personal and professional journey. Hawking's cultural influence extended even into comedy and animation. He made guest appearances in popular shows like The Simpsons, Star Trek, The Next Generation, and The Big Bang Theory, where his cameo roles showcased his willingness to poke fun at himself and his condition. These appearances help humanize the image of a genius often seen as remote or inaccessible, making him approachable and relatable to people of all ages. As we advance into an age dominated by artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and space exploration, the questions Hawking posed remain more relevant than ever. What is the nature of time? Is the universe infinite? Are we alone? And perhaps most poignantly, what role does humanity play in the grand design of existence? These are no longer questions for science fiction. They are frontiers awaiting discovery. Hawking may have left the physical world, but the roadmaps he left behind continue to guide us. In labs and observatories, in books and classrooms, his influence quietly steers our understanding forward. His name joins the ranks of Newton and Einstein, etched not only in marble or awards, but in the very pursuit of knowledge. In every telescope peering skyward, and every student scribbling equations. Late into the night, the spirit of Stephen Hawking lives on, illuminating the darkness with the light of reason. Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking passed away on March 14, 2018, Einstein's birthday and Pi Day at the age of 76. The outpouring of tributes from around the world was a testament to his impact not just on science, but on humanity itself. He had not only expanded our understanding of the universe, but he had also expanded our understanding of what it means to be alive, to persevere, and to imagine the impossible. Stephen Hawking didn't just study time, he outwitted it. He took the cruelest hand life could deal and turned it into a legacy that stretched from black holes to bestseller lists, from silence to a voice heard around the world. His story reminds us that brilliance knows no boundaries, that a paralyzed body can still launch a million minds into orbit. As you close this chapter on his incredible journey, remember, the universe is yours to question, yours to explore, and yours to understand. If Hawking's life lit a fire of curiosity in you, hit that subscribe button now, because we've only just begun our journey into the minds that changed the world.